Hello guys, welcome to Java EGSM, and we are going to learn today one of the very important topics, which is array in Java, and it's a very important for the logical question also. It's a one of the part of the data structures. Okay, so let's start and know about what is exactly array. So array is basically a collection of similar type of the data. So I hope you know about it. Okay, when you are in college, when I was in the college, that time also we have learned like array is a collection of the similar type of the data, and that is the reality. Okay, so you have to know about it, like what is the similar type of the data and what we can say of the similar type of the data and how exactly it will look like. Okay, so basically you have to just aware about Java. In Java, array is a collection of similar data types. What do you mean by the similar data types? That are stored in a continuous memory allocation. Continuous memory allocation means whatever the array you have created, those will occupy the particular memory in your system in the continuous memory of the block. Okay, it means that along with all those value. It's not like that chunk of the memory it stores some other place, some other place, some other place. Not like that. Continuous means one exact memory of the block it will occupy and it will store the data inside this. Okay, we can understood what is the similar data type. Similar data type means, let's go to the notepad. So similar data type means, for example, I have one array. Okay, so this is the basically array. And here if I store something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 something, so this is the similar type. I am storing inside this array only similar type of the data, which is integer type. If I give here something like a string type of the data, that is not array, and it will not accept the array also. If you give like that, it will give the error. So that will not accept. Okay, so you have to provide the similar type of the data, which is continuous memory allocation it will provide to you. Okay, so this is the meaning of the similar type of the data. Okay, we have to store the data inside this similarly. If you are storing some string value, so store only a string. If you are storing the string value, store only a string, don't store any integer value. If you store some integer value, again it will not accept it, it will give the errors. Okay, for example, I have stored some string value, so you can create a string object of the array. Okay, and you can store it, no issue, but make sure whatever the data type you have created of your array, those are same, those will not be different. So whatever the value I am storing inside this array, those value are the same type. It should not be like a string or something like data or integer. If you give like that, it will wrong. It's a wrong. It will not accept it. Once you created any, for example, we are creating any array, so we can create like int, which is data type, and after that reference variables of those array, and also give the square bracket. Okay, and here you can put the value. Okay, this is basically called anonymous array. So here if I created, this is integer type of the array, then I can only store here integer type of the data. If I store some other type of the data, it will not accept. That is the meaning of similar type of data. If I given here what we call a string, so I have to create a string array. I have to create a string array, str, like that. If I create, then only it will work. If I give some other things, it will not work. Okay, so basically it's a string type. So it will accept only a string type of the data. It will not accept any integer if you give. That is the wrong. Here if you give the type called integer, you can store only integer type of the data. Okay, so this is called similarity or similar type of the data we can store in array. Okay, I hope you understood what is the array is a collection of similar type of data. Okay, And you also understood memory allocation, which is the continuous memory allocation which will occupy. It will not occupy like a chunk in the different places. Okay. Second point is, it is a data structure that allow you to store and manipulate group of related value of the sum types. Okay, so it's a one of the concept of the data structure we already know. Okay, it is stored to manipulate a group of related value. For example, inside this having a like so many value, so we want to manipulate means doing some changes, like I want to remove some data, I want to store some data, I want to search some data. So this is called some manipulations we are doing inside this as a group, and which is the same type. Okay. Third point, in an array each element is defined by a index. That is the very important point. So whatever the element we have defined inside the array, each element having a one index value. For example, here if I say the index value of ABC is 1, the index value of PK is 2. No, this is wrong. So always array index value is start with 0, then it will go to the 1, then it will go to the 2. So always sure about it. Okay, always make sure you have to start the index value of the array which is 0, then 1, then 2. Okay, so always array index value start with the 0. Okay, and always 0. Don't forget it. So this is the index value. We can tell like how internally he maintain the index value also. Okay, represent the positions of the element within the array. So internally array will be maintain one index value which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's always start with the 0. Go to the next point and say the first element in the array is at index number 0. Yes, always first element of the array is index number 0. The second element is at index number 1. Third one is a 2. So always whatever the elements you have stored, that element position or based on the position the element index number is -1. Okay, so this is the something we need to understand. Also keep this 4 point in your mind so that you can like do the whatever the logical questions you have, you can give the theoretical questions, whatever. Okay, so I have covered in the 4 point each and everything. Okay, so please remember it. Okay, let's go and think about this diagram. Okay, so array index position. For example, if you think this diagram, just see this diagram. Here you can see this is the array. This is the blank array we have created, which is size, the array length is 10. Array length is 10. If you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So because of we are saying array length is 10, right? No issue. But internally we don't know, we can't see also. But internally Java is a data structure concept, and Java internally maintain the indexing to store the value inside the array. Okay, so internally whatever the array you have created, corresponding index value also assigned to those particular array positions. So what is the first position of the index value is 0, second one 1, okay, third one 2. So like that it will start with the 0, it will go to the up to those final length. So that is called indexing. So this is the first index and this is the at index 8. You can see this is the index 8 and this is the indexing will internally compiler will do. We don't know, but internally compiler will do for us to do the some fast operations. Okay, we can discuss more about it. Okay, just as of now, just assume like whenever you create a array corresponding to array, one index value is also created inside this, which is started with the 0. Okay, so our element started with the 0 and index value is last of the value. Okay, what is the length of the array? It's 10. Okay, nice. Here, just see this diagram. You have a one array called 25, 40, 56, 15, 36. Okay, and this is the element we have. This is the another array we have. This is the one array we have. Now I want to insert this 35 value. Just see this. This is the array we have right now, which is index value is start with the 0 and we end with the 4. The value is having inside this array is 25, 14, 56, 15, 36. I want to insert one more value to be inserted, one more value which is 35 at the position index of 2. So if I try to store the 35 value at the position number 2, what will happen? It will go, it will check what is the index number 0, index number 2. So we need to go with the positions. Okay, index value had to be inserted at the index number, index position 2. So here if you see 0, 0, 1, 2. So this is the 2 index number. So we can take this value and we can insert here at the position number or index number 2, and then after we can continue other value which is 56, 15 or 36. Okay, so I hope you understood. And they will also again start with, if you see here, this one is also start with what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so again we are indexing will be maintained like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, later we can discuss some more point about it. Okay, let's go. So this is the things as of now. Use of array in Java. This is very important questions. What is the use? Why we can learn array? What is the importance? What is the benefits of the array? Where we can use it? Okay, so this is the very important questions. Use of array in Java. So array in Java are the used to store a collection of similar type of data. We already know about it. Array is storing only similar data types of the data. Okay, it's a contiguous block of the memory. Contiguous you can say, or continuous you can say also, no issue. Contiguous block of the memory. Here is the some common use case for the array in Java. What is the common use case? So let's see. Storing and manipulating collections of the data. Okay, storing and manipulating a collections of the data means we have a collection of the data, so we can do like integers, string, character, whatever the value we have, we can change it, we can manipulate it, we can do some modification on that. Okay, that is called manipulations. Iterating over the collections of data. So whenever you want to iterate some value and you have to see with the iteration, so we can go with the array also. Storing and searching of the data. So for example, I want to later search some data. So that time also you can go with the array and you can put your data inside the array and you can do the search. It's very easily. So if you use the array.sort, it will sort in one line of the code. Your sorting will be done. Okay. Implementing data structures. Array are the building block of many data structures such as a stack, queue and matrix. So once you know about the array, you can able to implement the stack and queue, because a stack and queue will be depend on the array only. So if you know the array, like how array will be work, how we can do the work with the array, you can easily able to implement the stacks, queue and array also in your programs. Okay, it's a very easy. So array are the building block of the data structure such as a stack, queue, matrix. These data structure can be used for a wide range of the application, including the computer graphics, image processing, and simulations. Okay, so this is the things we need to know about it. Okay, let's go and understand what is the use of array, how we can do work with the array. So this is the something like types of the array in Java. So there are three types of the generally we can say, which is single dimensional array, double dimensional array, and multi-dimensional array. We can consider in the three types only, but in the multi-dimensional array having some another part like sub part also, which is coming into the multi-dimensional array only. So we can differentiate it each and everything. Okay, so generally we have three types of the array in Java. Okay, so as of now whatever we have gone through, okay, this is the indexing, how it will work, how we can do the work with the array. Okay, so let's go and do some practical on that so that we can understood in the depth way. Okay, so this is some classes, so I'm going to close it, otherwise I can create one more class. Let's give the class, oh my god, and here I will give array and array test. Class should be anything, no issue in that, but make sure give the sensible or good name which is indicate directly. Okay, this is the array. Okay, so this is called a array test class I have created. Now let's understand how the array will be work. So let me create one main method. Okay, so this is the main method. I want to create a array object. So while creating a array object we have to give the size, because size is mandatory in the array. So for example, I want to create array, I can write type of the array. So for example, I want to store integer data in the array, so I can take the help of the int data type, and I will give the reference name. So reference name is anything you can give, no issue. A square bracket will represent this is array. Okay, and now here we can write new. So new is a keyword which is used to, we can create a array in Java, object in Java we can say, or array in Java you can say also. So with the new help, with the help of the new keyword we can create a object in Java. Okay, so new. Now again I have to type the type which is int type, and in the square bracket I have to declare the size of array. Okay, so this is the one way to create a object of array. I hope you understood. Creating 5 length of array object. Creating 5 length of array object. Okay, simple. So this is the array we have created, but right now inside this array how it will look like, if I created that's it only, how it will look like. Okay, so let's go to the paint and understand what is the architecture will be happen if you go with that. Okay, so let me take the help of the paint. So let me open the paint. Okay, so this is the paint. Okay, so as of now I have written only one line, which is I will write here int arr new int type, and also I have given the size is 5 semicolon. So this line I have created. So what is the architecture, how it will look like inside the Java. Okay, so let's see. So it will create one memory block simply through this line of the code only. It will create one memory block. simply. And what it will learn is, for example, it creates some memory block. So this is the 2 block, and through that I will generate 3 block. Okay, so this is the length is 5, so because of it will create 5 block, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this is the 5 block will be created first, and this is nothing but it's a object, so it's a object also. So I will not write anything, okay, as of now, just do the indexing. So if I do the indexing of this object, so 0 will come here, it will start with the 0, 1 will come here, okay, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, right? This is the indexing will happen internally because of this line only. And whatever the object will be created, this is the object. So this is a object, this having a some address, right, which is maybe the 10010. Okay, so this is the address, and this address will be started where? In A. So we have a one called variable called ARR, which is reference ARR. So this is the object reference, it will store this whole object. And as of now, by default, if it is a integer type, so by default, if you see here, the compiler will put the value which is 0, which is 0. It's a by default value because of the integer. If you give a string, it by default value is null. Okay, so based on the data types, the default value will be inserted. Right now there is no data inside this array. Okay, right now there is no data inside this array, just we have created one object of the array. So this object is created, and this is also like size is array dot the address will be stored inside the array. Okay, so let me square this also. So this is the array, and through that we can access this array. One more thing is very important. Internally, whenever you create an array, it will create one variable called length. Array having one variable called length, which is initialized or store with the length, which is 5. So whenever you called length, which is display 5. So if you create the object with the length called 10, so it will print here 10. Okay, it will store here 10. So it's an internal variable will be created whenever you create an object for the length. So whenever write this line of the code, int array equal to new int of 5, this object will be created. And once this object will be created, now we can do the operations on that. So let me check if this object is created, we can print this value, length value. Yes, we can print it. So let's go to the Eclipse, and here try to print length. So here if you see, I am going to type arr dot length, and you can see here we are able to see the length object. If you click on that and control 1 and try to see like what is the, where it's coming the length. So it's not showing like where it's coming and why it's came here. But internally, whenever you create a object reference of array, it internally give the length one variables, and through that we can see the length of your array. Let me run this code so that you can understand more about it. So you can see here the length of the array is 5. Okay, now one more things I have to clear it. By default you see like the given value is 0. Okay, and index value is 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, we need to see it. What we can do is we can print the each and every element of the array. So how we can print it? This is the one of the big questions. So here I will write length of array and also I will write the plus. So this will print something like that. This is the length of array is 5. Now I want to see how we can access and how we can print the value which is default stored inside this. So right now if you see, the default value in the array is 0 0 0 0 0 in every index positions. So I want to print for example this value which is 2 index. So I have to tell, hey, can you please give me the index number 2 value? How we can print it? So simply in the Java code you can write s out, you want to print it, right? So write s out. In the s out you can write arr of 2 index value I want. You can say 2 index value I want. So it will print 2 index value. So what is the value of the 2 index is 0. If you tell like no, I want 0 index value, I want 1 index value, 2 index value, 4 index value. So this is the 2, this is the 0, this is something like 1, this is something like 3, this is something like 4. Okay. So whatever the value is available up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm trying to fetch it and I will try to print it also. Okay. So if I try to print it, you can see the index of the value is 0 0 0. Okay. So that is fine. It's running the code, it's working fine, it's printing the default value also. Let me give some index value which is not exist here. 0 1 2 3 4 only index value we have right now. I want to give the index number 5 which is not available in the array, so it will hear something which is not available in an array. So what we got error because those index value is not available. Here if you see, there is no 5 index is available because index value will start with the 0 and it will go up to the 4 only if length is 5. If you give length is 10, then we can go with the 0 to 9. So let me try to print the index number 5 value. So here I will write one line of the code which is array of 5 index value. Can you please give me? You can see if I run it, I can get one exception. It's printing up to 4 but it's not printing the 5. Why? It's saying clearly, if you see the error, it's saying clearly, hey, exception in the thread main java.len.array index out of bound exception. What do you mean by array index out of bound exception? It means whatever the array you have created, those index is not available, so that is the out of bound. The index 5 is out of bound, that is not exist of the length 5. Okay, it's clearly saying that. So what we can do, array index out of bound. So here we can get one exception, okay, which is array index out of bound, runtime error. Okay, runtime exception. So this is the runtime exception we got, array index out of bound exception. Okay, same thing, if you access something like, so here if you are trying to access the 5, if you try to access the 6 also, if you try to access the array of 6 also, so 6 is also not available, so it will also give the same error. Let's check. Exception error, java.len.array index out of bound exception, index 6 out of the bound of the length 5. Okay, so this is also give the errors. Let me try to access -1 because -1 is not available in our indexes. So let me ask -1. So it's saying like array index out of the bound exception, -1 out of bound of the length 5. If you give here -10 or something, same error you got. So always indexes will be a start, and whenever you try to fetch the data from the array, it should be a start with the 0 and end with the whatever the length having a array, which is 5 minus 1 only. Okay, so I hope you understood. Okay, same thing we have also, like as of now we are trying, and we are getting the exception. If you try to access some other value, okay, exception, array index out of bound. Now I try to store some data inside this. So as of now you understood, based on this memory diagram, how we can create the array and how we are storing the default value, how automatically whenever you create an object of the array, it will give the length, which is 5, it will store whatever you given here, how we can create the array, how it will store, how we are trying to access. So always we can access the array element with the help of the reference, of a square bracket with the index value. Okay, so always make sure when you access of array value, we can use array reference with index number in a square bracket index, then only we can do it, otherwise you can get exception. So this is the one code we have to write for access the array element. Let me add some value inside the array. How we can add? Same thing, I want to add value something like array of 1 positions. Randomly we can store anywhere. So in the 1 position I have to put 100. No, I want to put 1 positions array equal to 100. So I have to write like that. Array of one index store the 100 value. So what will happen here? It will go to the memory diagram, and here if you see, this is the index number 2, so this will removed. Okay, and in that position it will store 100 value, 100. Okay, if you want to store some other positions like array of 0 positions, so you can write I want to store 600. Yeah, like that you can store it. If you want to print again, okay, same thing, I want to print the index number 1 or index number 0. So let's take this index number 1 or index number 0. So if you print here index number 1 or index number 0, you can see the output different. Here you can see the different value is same thing, like 0 0 only, but here we have modified the array and then we are printing, so here we get some modified value only. So let's run it. So if you see here we got whatever the value we are accessing with the array, which is 0 0 default value, but once we modify the value, we are getting the modified value only, which is the index number 0 we have put it 600, so we are getting 600. Index of the 1 we have put it here 100, so it's getting a 100. So like that we can modify it. Same thing, if you are trying to modify some value in the array arr of something position which is not exist, index number 6, so and here you are trying to store some 300, so it will give the exception. Okay, because we are trying to store the index number 6 and this index is not available in our array, it's only store 1 to 4 only, it will not store 5 6 anything else other. Okay, if I run this code, you can see the exception here. Array index out of the bound exception, index 6 out of bounds of the length 5. Okay, So this is the things we can do the work with the array. We can store the value inside the array, we can fetch the value inside the array. So this is the operations we can do. Slowly we can understood some more about it in this video. As of now it's fine. I think we can discuss more about it some another video. Thank you so much.